And kicking things off at UFC 329, McGregor taking on Holloway 2. We've got Alessandro Costa taking on Cody Durden. Cody Durden originally was supposed to be on this card. He was supposed to fight Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne has dropped out due to injury, and in steps Costa. Obviously, let's talk about Costa. He just recently fought against Matt Schnell, was able to get that first round knockout, stepping in on short notice in that one. Looking to make a quick turnaround here against Durden. And Costa, a training partner of Diego Lopez, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Very sort of small, tight ball of muscle. Carries a lot of power in the hands, and we saw that on full display in his last fight. And I think this is a bad matchup here for Durden, even on short notice. If you're giving Costa 2 weeks, I do think that he possesses all the threats on the ground and on the feet to really give Cody Durden a problem. Obviously, out of Cody Durden's 10 losses, he has been finished in a lot of them, the majority of them, in fact. And Cody Durden, he is a wrestler boxer, but the problem with Durden is I think that he relies too much on coming out, being entertaining, and getting the knockout. We saw him recently go on a multiple fight losing streak due to the fact that he wanted to come in, take fights on short notice, come in and be wild, be aggressive, and ultimately he was getting finished in most of those fights, even on short notice. And I just think this is a bad matchup here against Costa. If you look, if Durden wants to fall back on his wrestling and go to that well, Costa is a good wrestler and a fantastic grappler in himself, so he's going to have to worry about the submissions of Costa. If Durden shoots in for sloppy, tired takedowns, Costa's got a fantastic guillotine. And I think on the feet, I give the power edge to Costa. Even though Durden does possess a slight height advantage, the reach is almost identical. Durden isn't technical in the boxing enough to be able to really mess with Costa on the feet, in my opinion. And I think what's going to happen here is that Durden's going to get wild, he's going to leave openings, and Costa's going to take advantage. It only takes a couple of shots from Costa to really put you out. He throws really nice, tight, crisp hooks, and he does a good job of leading that left hand to the body, to the liver, coming upstairs as well with tight hooks. I just think that he carries the power advantage here, and Durden at 35 has taken far too much damage. And it's a shame, really, because Durden is a good fighter, but I think that he's just got away from his principles and his wrestling and boxing and kind of being fundamental. He wants to be more entertaining. He wants to come in and have a wild fight and put one on for the fans, but that's been at his own detriment. And I just think that Costa is a guy you can't do that with. So give me Alessandro Costa here to come in, kick off this fight card with a finish, whether that be a submission on the ground if Durden mixes in grappling, or maybe even the hands with the boxing and the power. I could definitely see Costa getting a finish early in round 1 or 2 as Durden gets a little bit sloppy. Either way, give me Costa here to get this one done. Let's see who Carlos has got in this opening bout.
Okay, in this one, I'm going to go with Costa to get it done, and I just think Costa can be a bit more patient in his approach to striking. You know, he's a threat on the feet or on the mat. You know, in his fight against Stuart Nickel was a little confusing, a little unpredictable with the striking, but keeping his range and controlling the grappling exchanges, constant pressure allowed Costa to pull out the victory. And when Durden is landing, you know, his strikes and he's mixing his wrestling and his ground and pound, he can be tough out for anybody. But I just feel that the speed, solid takedown defense, the pressure, constantly stalking his opponent, being more strategic on the feet is going to allow Costa to pretty much pick his spots against someone like Cody Durden. And Durden's going to want to implement his wrestling, and I just think that it'll end up being like, you know, a clinch exchange against the cage. Costa's probably going to break away, land some shots on the way out. I don't think that Durden's going to be able to get him to the mat. I just think there's too much speed, too much power. He's got good takedown defense from Costa, and I just think that Costa is going to pretty much land when he'd like to on the feet. He's just got to worry about Cody Durden's overhand right. Other than that, I think he's got it. So Costa to get this one done.